Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka Qnt. So let's just dive in and let's start off with this tweet here. Web 2 has a big issue within it, and it is centered around security and privacy layers. I do believe that Web 2 will continue to fail, and I do think that we need Web 3 to really kind of shine the greatest within the security area. There's a tweet from CZ Binance where he did discuss over 487 million WhatsApp phone numbers for sales in the dark web. A sample indicates the phone numbers are legit. Please stay vigilant as threat actors downstream will use this data to conduct smishing, phishing messages, campaigns. Yes, we are seeing a lot of issues around security within the Web 2 scene. Obviously, if you are a credit card user, you know that credit card companies get hacked all the time. There's data breaches all the time. Banks also, I've seen it all the time. I mean, like the amount of fraud that's in the financial and the payment system is substantial. Now, obviously, Web 2 does not have the security layers that crypto companies do have, or even Web 3 itself. A big one is obviously Quant, right? We do see over here, Gilbert is speaking, Qnt equals hybrid security. Our approach is a good mix of traditional security controls and decentralized technology, which is ready for institutions. This was posted by GregLen27. Listen closely, and then we will discuss a few things around this.
It's not easy to secure infrastructure, and it's not easy to secure money. In traditional systems, in banking and capital markets, all of those applications and infrastructure are very well protected. They're under many layers of firewalls, and so they're very difficult to access. And the issue is anyone can start probing and interacting with these cross-chain bridges and start finding vulnerabilities and holes. So we've solved that, and we set out to solve that early on. We've created a hybrid approach where you are working with bridges, but those are not easily probable or accessible to third parties. You have to use a protected infrastructure of what we've developed to be able to interact with these bridges. So it's secure smart contracts. It's not just a smart contract on the chains. And our approach, we believe, is really a good mix of traditional security controls and decentralized technology in the right way, which is ready for institutions.
And this is also a big focus point that I want to put a huge spotlight on. It's the fact that, when we look at institutional grade adoption for crypto, it is happening, but I think that a lot of people are kind of confused on what's really going on with interoperability or institutional grade adoption. It's focused on interoperability because these institutions do want to utilize DLT. I think that these institutions working with Quant and moving over to utilize Quant Overledger is a perfect example of how mass adoption is going to take place. A lot of people think that, Quant's not going to do really anything, Overledger's not going to be massively adopted, this is, this, that, whatever. The thing is that Quant's actually powering mass adoption of crypto through the institutional grade sector. Why? How? Well, you go and look at some of the companies that they are already partnered with. I mean, they are some of the largest names in the game. In fact, Greg Lunt posted this over on Twitter as well, and it was talking about some of the partnerships that Quant has. Oracle, cloud infrastructure for 430,000 plus clients, which domino effect into probably hundreds of thousands plus partners. Nexi Group, payment technology for 1,000 plus financial institutions. Again, huge opportunity for Quant to really kind of take over within the institutional grade sector. Digital consulting for 140 plus at the Global 1000, UST Global, which we talked about in a video just recently. And then, of course, LAC Chain, regional blockchain network for 12 plus Latin countries. Qnt, the glue to it all. And of course, when you look at ISO TC 307 as well, that is empowering these major areas to go fully into the DLT sector and adopt it fully. Now, why would they go to Quant for all of this major partnership innovation? Well, it's very simple, right? Interoperability. Interoperability has been in every single major article around the world, especially within some of the largest names out there, like even the BIS, even the Federal Reserve, and even the World Economic Forum, which this was posted back in April of 2022. But it's all centered on why these major companies and corporations should be looking into interoperability and why they should pursue true interoperability. The interesting thing here, though, is that these are interoperability breakdowns between payment systems. That's it, just payment systems. They're not even talking about what Quant has solved. See, the thing is that when we go over to this Federal Reserve paper, right? This is their note. fit-for-purpose payment system interoperability framework. This got posted back on July 14th of this year. The interesting thing that I do want to mention is that they're also talking about a few things around payments, right? They're talking about credit card transactions, bank-to-bank transfers, and even foreign exchange. That's pretty much all they're talking about, right? But the thing that I want to mention is the fact that as we see crypto continue to grow and grow and grow and grow to the point where it's almost too big to ignore, there's going to be this inception where you have individuals utilizing crypto-driven payment processing systems, and then you have people utilizing, just legacy system processing. This is a focus point that I want to make clear. When you have something as big as crypto, when it continues to grow and grow and grow, it's going to be just as big as credit card transactions, where you're going to need a 100% interoperability layer between the crypto-driven payment processing systems and the legacy payment system processing systems. This is a big focus point that I want to make clear, because a lot of people kind of confuse the way that we will have true mass adoption. Mass adoption does not happen without institutional grade adoption as well. We need these names that Greg Lunt did post over here, because these are going to blossom into massive, massive domino effects. I always say that mass adoption doesn't really necessarily mean that I will have to send a payment to somebody's, digital wallet and I'll send them like Dogecoin, for an example. No. To me, mass adoption kind of looks like back end, right? You have the front end and then you have the back end. The back end is the one to focus on, because that's going to be the layers between the systems that we already utilize, where you have the current payment systems actually running on crypto rails. That could also be a possibility, which we've kind of talked about many times in the past, how DLT could essentially be the payment rails of tomorrow. I think that is a perfect example of mass adoption without people knowing that they're utilizing crypto. Again, there's a lot of people out there that don't support crypto, that love crypto as well. I mean, it's a 50-50 market, right? So how do you get mass adoption in a world filled with major payment processing systems, and it's a fragmented system? Well, it's very simple. You have the back end. You have the back end do everything. We're already seeing adoption from the Federal Reserve. We're already seeing adoption through major banking entities. We see the central banks rushing to CBDCs, and they even do mention CBDCs down here. They mention everything happening around digital assets as well. But they're all talking about, or all of these major articles are all talking about payment interoperability. Because they know that this is going to be a crucial area to focus on. This is also why I've always made interoperability a major topic whenever I talk about Quant, because what they have solved around interoperability is a huge area. When we look at everything happening around crypto, we know it's continuously growing. We know it's going to become the next big thing around payments, around finance, around almost everyday life. Web3 is expected to be a $100+ trillion market by itself. Just imagine how large some of these assets will be. In my opinion, I do believe that Quant will hit a $1 trillion plus market cap eventually. It's going to take some time, but as we look at everything happening around crypto, yes, we still are very well in this market's infancy, but as we look at payments and as we do see everything kind of shifting towards the digital age, I do think that crypto will be at the forefront of all of this. And I also think that the back-end processing is going to be crucial. And when we look at interoperability, here is from the World Economic Forum. Defining and measuring interoperability. It is necessary to broaden traditional definitions of interoperability by taking into account the perspectives of consumers and e-commerce business. When we look at a few studies in the past around interoperability, we know that API gateways are going to be the big one that continues to succeed. This mentions a lot of the interoperability definitions around some of the major names out there, like the European Central Bank, Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. Like, these are some of the high-tier names around finance that have been talking about what interoperability means to them. Now, we do see a few of the focus points. Accessibility, fast, low-cost ways to obtain a payment method that, once obtained, can be used for multiple, if not all, purposes. Again, why do I focus on Quant? Well, if they're making this DLN, this distributed ledger network, that's going to connect all DLTs to one, this is huge because it will grasp all purposes out there. It's going to be extremely fast, low cost, scalable. This is going to be like a huge area, because having DLTs, like we've talked about XRP, we've talked about HR, we've talked about XLM, like all of these DLTs have incredible features to them that are extremely efficient compared to what we already are used to seeing around the legacy system. And when we look at that, every single one of these bullet points are being hit because you have the opportunity to utilize any DLT of your choosing that could value your purpose of use. Say for so you wanted to utilize it for settlement, go ahead, utilize XRP if you want. But any use case that you could think of is going to be streamlined by DLT, no matter which choosing of your liking, and it's going to be possible by what Quant has solved. That DLN that's connecting all of them is huge. And of course, they do talk about interoperability through 3 lenses. They talk about technical, regulatory, and even usage. This is also why I say like interoperability, it's going to be huge once we do see regulatory clarity for this space. I do think that regulations are key and crucial as well. I think that as we do see migration towards like ISO 20022, which was going to help the market kind of be more or less fragmented around the current financial market. But a lot of people kind of confuse what ISO 20022 actually means. Again, I always make sure to pay attention to the standard that actually means a lot for DLT, which is ISO TC 307. Again, that is the big focus point that I always made sure to really kind of I want to say when we look at TC 307, I think that that is a bigger innovation than ISO 20022. Remember, ISO 20022 does not mean too much for crypto. What it does allow is certain cryptocurrencies like XRP, for example, to be utilized within the banking sector. Why? Because RippleNet itself is ISO 20022 compliant, which means RippleNet could be utilized, which means you might have XRP being utilized within the financial system. It doesn't mean too much. That's why I always say like TC 307 is much larger. But everything is kind of aligning perfectly for global adoption of digital payment systems as well as digital payments in general. I think that as we look at what's happening around our current structure and what will happen as we do continue to move forward on in time, it's really kind of centered around the digital economy. And we are seeing the digital economy being really focused on right now. The BIS did a great study on this, as you guys do see, and it's all centered on API access. Like API gateways is going to be the true interoperability layer simply because of what they have already solved. We also look at some of the things that are happening right now around cross-border transactions. Here you have like M-Bridge. This is with cross-border transactions as well. You can see everything around this. This is also focused on a few things around like transparency and all that kind of stuff. But again, all of these studies, everything that we have seen so far around finance as well as payments is focused on interoperability. The interesting thing is when you go over to the World Economic Forum and you go to blockchain security and interoperability, I just talked about this in a video recently around XRP, around what we are seeing around crypto, especially with adoption, and why I do think that the World Economic Forum is actually kind of ahead of time with this. We do see blockchain being at the forefront, and then you do see even security and interoperability being a forefront here. So as you do click blockchain security and interoperability, it does connect to a few things. First off, the digital transformation of business, cities and urbanization, energy transition, infrastructure, justice and law, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and then down here you do see electricity, supply chains, manufacturing, cybersecurity, and I do think that when we look at interoperability is also going to allow for all of this to really kind of take light. And again, as we look at crypto, I do think that this will be the fourth industrial revolution, as they are mentioning over here. They even do mention Starbucks, how they plan to develop an artificial intelligence-based demand forecast and logistics management system called the Deep Brew. And we do see a few things around this. It's going to be centered on the Internet of Things from the coffee company's equipment and products, which can then be traced transparently through blockchain. Almost every corporation out there, almost every single major name out there is going to push for major adoption of crypto. Now, the interesting thing is that the World Economic Forum does not mention anything around Quant. They only mention Polkadot and Cosmos here, which I think is a little illogical of them, because when you look at what Quant has done, they have solved interoperability beyond the means of Polkadot and even Cosmos. We broke Cosmos down in the past. That's just blockchain interoperability. When we look at the fourth industrial revolution, right? This is going to change everything. And it is going to be centered on blockchain. I do believe that crypto will be at the forefront of almost every single thing that we use on a day-to-day basis, and you can even see that through some of the things that we see going back. So let me actually. So here you guys have the Financial and Monetary Systems article. This is the one that I focused on recently. This is talking about everything that they are focused on: sustainability, net zero, all that kind of stuff. One thing that I want to make sure is the digital economy, right? This is why the COVID-19 era was a big deal around crypto, because everything shifted towards digitization. We have been talking about digitization, tokenization, and crypto for so long on this channel. It's arguably one of the biggest topics right now. As we continue to see crypto be adopted in, we get closer and closer to mass adoption of these crypto-driven payment processing systems. Now, why do I bring this up? Why do I talk about this? Well, when we look at what Quant has focused on for so long, it's allowing all of this to take place. It's allowing all of this to happen at a rapid pace. Interoperability will be crucial for all of this to take place. These diagrams, everything that we have seen around these diagrams is so crucial to watch be adopted and really disrupted as well by crypto. And you can go over here to all of their topics. You could break down every single one of their major topics. I'm pretty sure that they even do have interoperability labeled on here. Obviously, the fourth industrial revolution is probably one of the biggest ones, because this is going to be centered around physical, digital, and even biological. And it's going to be centered on how we exchange, create, and even distribute value. And yesterday, I even did tweet out a tweet talking about how crypto is going to change everything. A lot of people focus on market cap. I don't think that that is the big area that we should be watching for. Everything that we know of around, the financial sector, around finance, everything. You could argue that you could look at just finance, and then you could also look at gaming. You could look at real estate. Anything that you could think of right now is being disrupted by crypto. The fourth industrial revolution is upon us, and the way that we achieve it is by connecting our legacy system to this digital system, and Quant is solving all of that. This is why it's such a big opportunity, at least for me at least. I've always focused on Quant because of how large of an opportunity it actually is by all of the studies that we have seen. Every single study that we have seen from the BIS, the World Economic Forum, the Federal Reserve, it's all been centered on one topic. That is, how can we connect to the digital world through the legacy world? Why? Because they want to utilize these processing systems. They want to utilize the efficiencies locked behind DLTs. DLTs are going to be the back end working of the future financial system, as well as the future systems of everything that you could think of. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.